send in my stuff.
You just gotta check tomorrow to make sure that it's not a vote needed by a majority. I don't know how it's run. It's run as a bid thing.
I'll send in my stuff. I'll send in my stuff. Have that when I'm gone, and then have that.
It's a great job.
That's just ridiculous.
What does the 30th look like?
I don't have anything.
Okay. They're supposed to hold all Tuesdays.
Yeah, they're
so
supposed to hold on.
I got to try to find it Tuesday.
Yeah, can we do it then?
I'm messing my comments up.
The day time of the amplification back in the day, things happened.
They have Memorial Day, but
Yeah,
I'm trying to find the day.
that's fine with me. I told Trish. Because
The other one, so you have to put the other one on. The cooler and water.
when is our, oh, my mother-in-law's here. Oh.
No, it's okay. There's still
When
some in
is
the well.
my,
They could,
when is
hopefully
my-
it won't be
when
that
is that other
long.
meeting we're having?
I think it's the
with,
31st.
Yeah,
Which is what we want. They're saying, and they're very respectful.
We talked about Rotary last week, but I thought it was just as usual.
We'll see what happens tonight. Nobody here.
Still some, yeah.
We gotta keep on top of it.
Michael.
That's liability.
That's why I got to find the day.
30th, I'm good.
Pumped up, huh?
Yeah, by the end of the day, it'll break by the end.
Oh, shake
Oh, my in-laws are here.
I saw, just not
You see him working out?
the wire.
For the band, the orchestra, because Evelyn, my nephew's in the orchestra, and Evelyn picked that is, asked me to do that.
Oh, nice.
Let me go say hello real quick, Mr. President.
Yeah.
And of course, Evelyn and the kids aren't here.
You'll get it tomorrow or something. But
I don't know.
Yeah. Anybody fit that description just yet?
oh, he's on my desk.
Oh, God.
But y'all got it. You got this?
Yeah.
I just don't know why I got these right.
All I got was stuff about the
Whatever needs you, I will.
It's on the website. Posted it. I guess these are extras. I don't know why they're all on my.
Sure.
Because you're in charge. All right, I'm all confused.
the button.
So we're-
I'm calling to order the Community Redevelopment Agency meeting of the City of Tarpon Springs on Tuesday, May 16, 2017 at 6:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Chair Alahouzes,
Here?
Vice Chair Banther,
Here.
Commissioner Sieber is absent and excused, Commissioner Kikta,
Here.
Commissioner Carr.
Here.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our commission meeting. Especially, I'd like to welcome the students from Tarpon High School. Thank you for being here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the first item on the agenda has been pulled, so we're going to go to the item number 2, which is a resolution 2017 2017-01 budget resolution facade grants. Mr. Licouris will do the presentation.
CRA Resolution 2017-01, a resolution of the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Tarpon Springs, Florida, amending the budget for fiscal year 2016-17. CRA Resolution 2017-01 by title only.
Turn over to Karen Lemons.
Thank you. Our facade grant has been very successful since its conception, and what we're just doing tonight is transferring money to replenish the fund so that we can continue it until the new budget year, and then we'll be coming forward with another transfer from the reserve from the CRA.
Thank you. Kara, this is a great program that we have started. Do we know how many people that actually use this program so far?
We have had 60 approved grants over the 6 years that we've had the program now, totaling almost $3 million in private investment from those who have done improvements. And from our fund, it's been about $200,000 that we have used. So it's our $200,000 is leveraged over $3 million in private investments. So it's been a very successful project for us.
Thank you. How do we do with the facade grant program that we have down at the Sponge Town?
The Greektown grant and the restaurant grant were both started in 2015 with proceeds from the sale of the nursing home. It was a total of $54,000 from the nursing home that was set aside to establish the new restaurant grant and the new Greektown grant. And those funds have run out. So if you want to establish a new Greektown grant, we would have to take money from the general fund because the sponge docks are not within the community redevelopment area.
Thank you. The reason I ask you the question so people will realize that we do have a program down at the Sponge Docks as well.
Yes, we did.
Thank you. Are there any commission comments?
I think it's a great program as well. It's very important for redevelopment in the community. Something I may ask also for you to look at is we've got a lot of old sponge houses in Tarpon Springs, a lot of them that are boarded up. I know some of them may fall in the CRA district and some of them may not. I think that's a very important part of Tarpon Springs history. And then there's an opportunity to develop those into some type of business today. Some are used as carpentry or construction or something along those, but I think there's something else we could bring in downtown and off Pinellas Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
So if I could encourage something along those lines to look at in the future as well.
We will. Thank you.
Thanks for your hard work on this.
Okay. We are now going to the public comments. Do we have any public comments on this item? Do we hear none? The chair will entertain a motion
Motion approved.
Second.
and roll call.
Commissioner Carr?
Yes.
Commissioner Kikta?
Yes.
Vice Chair Banther?
Yes.
Chair Alahouzes?
Yes. Well, that concludes the CRA meeting, and it's adjourned at 6:34 p.m. We are now going to the regular session, and I'm calling to order the regular session meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Tarpon Springs on Tuesday, May 16, 2017, at 6:35 p.m. Roll call, please.
Chair Alahouzes?
Here.
Vice Mayor Banther?
Here.
Commissioner Siebers absent and excused. Commissioner Kikta?
Here.
Commissioner Carr?
Here.
Thank you. Tonight's invocation will be beginning by Reverend David Parkinson from Tarpon Springs Association, Accurate Alternative. If you please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening with a profound understanding of our responsibilities as leaders of Tarpon Springs. We do not take these roles lightly, and we ask that you give us direction and guidance as we make the very necessary decisions on behalf of our citizens. We ask that you would provide us with open minds and clear thoughts throughout the evening in order for us to make decisions that are in the best interest of our community. We would also pray for our citizens, and especially for those who are the most vulnerable among us. Thank you, Father, for guiding us this evening and throughout the week ahead. We pray in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We are now going to the public comments of the items that will not be discussed tonight. If you have any comments, please come forward to the podium.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, Chief and City Manager, and all here in attendance. A couple things I wanted to bring up. First, walking into City Hall, I have to say it really looks nice outside with all the plants and everything being fixed up, so I applaud all the efforts that are being done to beautify our historic building here. Now, speaking of beautifying, I was at the beach, Sunset Beach, last Saturday to enjoy another wonderful sunset that we're so fortunate to have here. And walking along the beach, picked up a stray bottle, some plastic bags, some fishing line, and, you know, some odd things that don't belong there. And I couldn't find any place to put them in. I only found one trash can up by the walkway that leads to the little board that shows a little history of the beach, and there's one over by the pavilion. But if we really want to encourage people to keep our beaches clean, we need to have some more accessible receptacles. Now, what I was thinking about prior to coming here, and I'm so glad to see that we're honoring our high school students tonight, because what I want to speak about at this point is another usurpation by our Florida legislature. You have to act in front of us, Sunshine Law. Legislatures carve that exemptions out for themselves. And what did they do in the last few days of the session? Again, another attack on our public school system. Channeling money to charter schools that are unaccountable, to like online schools that are run from out of state with no administration or oversight by our local officials, and then taking money out of what is devoted to us, out of what we pay in local property taxes, to go to capital expenses for private schools. Now, I have no problem with private schools. They're more than willing to raise their funds and do that stuff. But I think most of us here are products of the public education system. This was one of the core dreams of America, is to get all of us educated to a point where we can all think and make decisions. And right now, again, it's follow the money. If you look at the school budget, they're talking about $28.7 billion for student funding. Well, there's corporations and people want a cut of that. And this has been going on for years, and it's intensifying, and our kids are suffering for it. Now, I don't have kids in school anymore, but to me, that doesn't matter, because these kids that are someone else's kids are our future. They're our future doctors, attorneys, carpenters, plumbers, accountants, our leaders, and we owe it to them to give them the best opportunities to succeed, and not have the special interests who want to take money out of our public schools to supply their supposed system of improvement. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comments? Here none. We are now going to the item number 1, which is a proclamation. A happy day. The City of Tarpon Springs, Florida, proclamation. Whereas IHAPA members are proud of the contributions the ancient Greeks gifted to the Western civilization. As Americans, we share many of the values put forth by them: civic responsibility, philanthropy, education, family, and the ideals of democracy. And whereas the IHAPA family works as a unit towards the fulfillment of a common mission Today, with 3 affiliated organizations, Daughters of Penelope, Sons of Pericles, and Maids of Athena, have contributed over $1 billion to nation projects throughout their history. And whereas a component of a HAPA mission is to create an awareness of the principles of Hellenism to society, and whereas these principles include a commitment to humanity, freedom, and democracy, and whereas the preservation and promotion of these ideals is where a HAPA has and always will be deeply committed, and whereas the City of Tarpon Springs recognizes the American Hellenic Educational Progressive Association in Tarpon Springs and its existence since the early 1902, currently residing in the HAPA home at 20 West Tarpon Avenue. And now, therefore, I, Chris Salahuzos, by virtue of the authority vested in me as the mayor of the City of Tarpon Springs, Florida, do hereby proclaim May 21st, 2017 as the AHAPA Day. The president, AHAPA's president, Mr. Tim Kefalis, if you please come forward to receive it. And if you please want to say a few words at the podium. Michael. Thank you for coming.
Have everybody come up. The AHEPA in Tarpon Springs started in 1926. We're one of the oldest chapters in the United States. And as the mayor said, we have contributed internationally to hospitals, to the war effort during World War II. We were the largest provider of buying of war bonds of over $500 million. Were sold through the national AHEPA, the largest in the United States of the sales of that. The papers that I have outside and I presented to the city commissioners. We've had past presidents. John Glenn, Senator John Glenn was in AHEPA. Franklin Roosevelt was in AHEPA. Harry Truman was in AHEPA. And many, many more. We have authors and very well-known people in the world, let alone in Tarpon Springs. There were over 100 governors and senators and congressmen that have been AHEPANs and are AHEPANs. Locally, we're proud to say that Chapter 16, George Washington, has former Congressman Michael Bilirakis retired as a member, where he actually started his campaign as to Congress, and Gus Bilirakis also is a member of the local, as well as he's been acknowledged as one of the leaders of the AHEPA family nationally. Each year, the Archbishop acknowledges May 21st as National AHEPA Day, and a proclamation is read by the Archbishop for the things that the AHEPA does. We've raised millions of dollars for scholarships internationally. We sponsor hospitals in various parts of the world, and we help anywhere we're called on. And while we're little known in Tarpon Springs, we are a large organization. In fact, the largest Orthodox-based organization in the world, other than the Greek Church. We are open to non-Greeks and as well as to the Greek community. We have houses, was said, over on 20 West Tarpon Avenue, where we weekly have dinners to help in our efforts. This year we gave scholarships to 4 recipients from Tarpon Springs High School. We have helped many people throughout Tarpon, and we hope with the help of the city in the future and the people of Tarpon Springs we'll be able to continue that. What I brought for the city is an original copy I just had made of the charter from 1926, and I'm going to present it to the city for the Historical Society, and I'd like to present it to the mayor.
Thank you. I will. We'll do that. Thank you. I also like to thank the AHAPA. As a AHAPA myself, I like to thank my fellow AHAPANs for the contributions to the city of Tarpon Springs and to the world. Thank you very much.
Okay. Let's-
I think that'll probably end up in your custody, so just you can wrap it up in there.
Thank you.
Are there any commission comments on this item? You know,
But I just want to say their dinners are awesome. So if you get a chance to go on Friday nights, they make very good
Yeah.
dinners. I don't know what that spaghetti stuff is called, but with the onions,
Tarkitiga.
I love it. Love it.
yeah. Good. Are there any public comments on this item? Here none. We go on to the next item, which is 1B. Commissioner Kichter will read the proclamation for the National Safe Boating Campaign.
Proclamation, whereas for nearly 90 million Americans, boating continues to be a popular recreational activity. From coast to coast and everywhere in between, people are taking to the water, enjoying time together boating. And whereas during National Safe Boating Week, we want to bring special attention to this pastime. And whereas drowning remains the #1 cause of death for recreational boaters each year, and the majority of victims are not wearing their life jackets. And whereas every boater should wear a U.S. Coast Guard approved life jacket at all times while boating. Whereas National Safe Boating Week is observed to bring attention to important life-saving tips for boaters so that they can have a safer, more fun experience. Now, therefore, I, Commissioner Susan Michio Kichter, by virtue of the authority vested in the Mayor of the City of Tarpon Springs, Florida, do hereby support the goals of the North American Safe Boating Campaign and proclaim May 20th through 26th, 2017 as National Safe Boating Week. And I urge all those who boat to wear it and practice safe boating habits. And I believe Joan is here and the Coast Guard Auxiliary is here. Oh, okay.
You want us all around, or? Okay, well,
First, I'd like to thank the mayor and the Board of Commissioners for recognizing the efforts of the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary here in Tarpon Springs. And I would also like to say that with Tarpon being one of the 10 most conducive to recreational boating cities in the state of Florida, we have to be even more aware of boating on the water. We've had a number of calls, search and rescues. A new concern that's come up is a lot of kayaks and paddle boards. So we've undertaken a new campaign to teach kayak and paddleboard safety. And again, all these beautiful young people in the audience, you have to make sure when you go out on the water that you take every precaution you can to stay safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Before you go, you want to tell us a little bit about your National Safe Boating Week that is coming up on the 21st?
Yes, it's a national initiative of both the Coast Guard and the Coast Guard Auxiliary. And this Sunday, we will have an informational display at Lowe's. And Scott Young will have the Tarpon Springs Fire Rescue Boat. And we will also have a regular Coast Guard boat that's going to be trailered up from Station Sand Key. So if any of the local residents would like to go on board both the fire rescue boat for Tarpon Springs or the Coast Guard, please come and visit us. We'll be there from 1100 to 1400, also known as 2 p.m. in the Lowe's parking lot. So I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Any commission comments? Vice Mayor?
Yes, I just wanted to thank Joan for a second. Well, and all the voters here, obviously, for what you do. But Joan's our resident photographer, comes to most of our meetings, and a graduate of our Citizens Academy. So thank you for always being willing to take pictures and help get things along. So thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Kick?
Thank you. I just want to thank all of you for keeping our waterways safe. There was a lot that goes on the weekends out on our, the channel alone. It's crazy out there, and thanks for keeping it safe out there for everybody. And everything that you do for us. And if you haven't taken a safe boating class, please take the safe boating class. It's something everybody should know about. And, if I can do it, you can do it. Trust me. Thank you for everything.
Commissioner Carr? No comment? Okay. Again, thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for providing training to our boarders and be safe. Thank you. Are there any public comments on this item? Here now we go to the next item, which is 1B. 1C.
Yep.
Commissioner Carr will read the next proclamation on the National Public Works Week.
City of Tarpon Springs, Florida, proclamation, whereas public works services provided in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives, and whereas the support of an understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operation of public works system and programs such as water, sewer, streets, and public buildings, and whereas the health, safety, and comfort of this community greatly depends on these facilities and services. Whereas the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as their planning, design, and construction, are vitally dependent upon the efforts and skills of public work officials. And whereas the City of Tarpon Springs encourages its citizens to acquaint themselves with public works and recognize the contributions which public works professionals make every day to our health, safety, comfort, and quality of life. Now, therefore, I, Commissioner Jacob Carr, by the virtue of the authority vested in the Mayor of the City of Tarpon Springs, Florida, do hereby proclaim the week of May 21st through 27th, 2017 as National Public Works Week, and this will be received by Public Services Director Tom Funchkin.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Spoken the wrong one.
Any commission comments? Here none. Any public comments on this item? Here none. We are now going to the presentation. Commissioner Kichter will present the certificate of recognition to Tarpon Springs High School Orchestra.
Thank you. I'm not sure if any of you are aware, we have a fabulous orchestra at our high school that is led by Miss Suris. She also leads the orchestra at Tarpon Middle School as well. So a lot of our students here get to start out with her in middle school and move on to high school. And this year, they qualified and went to state at the Florida Orchestra Association. I believe it was last month in April. And they not only, for the first time in school history, the Tarpon Spring High School Orchestra has not only qualified to go to state, but they received straight superior ratings. And I felt that they should be recognized for this. Ms. Soros has given so much of her time and efforts and her love to our students, and it's shown. And we thought I'd like to present you, if you would you mind coming down? And the Certificate of Excellence, the Board of Commissioners of the City of Tarpon Springs, Florida, acknowledges with appreciation the exceptional contribution, talent, and dedication of Tarpon Springs High School Orchestra for continuing a tradition of excellence as one of the premier high school orchestras in the state of Florida. And I want to present this to you. You can hang in your classroom. Thank you for everything. And the students as well. I mean, so it takes a lot of time, effort on your part, and dedication. So we want to get a picture with everybody.
Sure.
Thank you. And then if you want, and then you can say a few words. Let's get a picture.
Thank you very much. These are the ones that work hard. I just wave my arms. That's the talent. They're extremely talented. I'm fortunate to work at a school like this, and this is exciting because we're going to be getting a new orchestra room. I don't know if everybody's aware. There's major renovations that are going to start on the high school this summer. So that will go in the new orchestra room. Thank you, sir, for the school resource officers at both schools are wonderful. Thank you for all that you provide, and thank you all very much. Thank you, Mrs. Kicka. This means a lot to the kids. The rest are studying. This is the middle of our final exam week. They have how many days left? 7. So they study too. We're not counting, but thank you. This means a lot to our students. I hope you know how much that means to all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. Any commission comments? Vice Mayor Panther.
Yes, thank you. As I always say to any group that comes in here, especially youth, whether it's the band or we have the swim team, when you all are playing at places, you're not just representing yourselves or Tarpon High, but Tarpon Springs as a whole. So you're like our little ambassadors that go out and play. So be proud of your accomplishments, and I appreciate how well that you represent the city of Tarpon Springs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a quick word. Yeah, sure. Keep up the good work. I think Tarpon Springs takes pride in the music arts that go on in Tarpon Springs, and I love to call Tarpon Springs home and have that be part of our culture. So thank you for everything you're doing at the schools, and for all the students, keep it up. It's a great time of life. Enjoy it. This is a good opportunity. You're going to be able to use these skills for the rest of your life. So just realize that you're blessed to be in that area of Tarpon Springs and that school, because not all schools have that. So thank you all for being great students too.
Thank you. I also like to thank you, congratulate you. You're very talented. We're very proud of you, and I can't thank you enough for your hard work and dedication, and to entertain the people of Tarpon Springs. Thank you. We now go into the public comments. Do you have any public comments? We hear none. We go to the next item of the agenda, which is the Library Board Annual Report. Thank you, students.
Sherry Patterson, Chairman of the City Library Advisory Board, and I'm here tonight to present the annual report from your library on behalf of the board. Some of our board members could not be with us tonight, but I am here. The list of members of the board: Kim and Mitchell is vice chairman, Debbie Salikas is secretary, Claire DeMontis, Jan Fortis, Patricia Lovejoy, and Eileen Scott are board members. Diane Wood, Director of Cultural and Civic Services, joined us at our last meeting, and we enjoyed having her with us. Carrie Rupp-Calvis, of course, as the library director, and Denise Manning, who we could not do those board meetings without. Thank you very much. Just as a note, Patricia Lovejoy and Claire DeMontis are both graduates of the Citizens Academy, and there are several of us who want to attend an upcoming academy. Also with us tonight, and we really thank you all for recognizing him earlier in the year, is Bill Grantham. Bill is a long-time member of the Friends of the Library Board. He chaired the library board for many years. And Bill let us know earlier this month that he's going to be leaving Tarpon Springs to go live with his son in Jacksonville. It'll be a huge loss for all of us. He has stayed very active in all of his organizations. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
There is pictures from when he received his recognition from the Board of Commissioners. in June last year when he actually retired. We've seen a lot of him, though, even though he's supposedly retired. This past year has been an active one for the library. We were celebrating our centennial, and there were a lot of programs with the library. And in January, we kicked it off with a program on the 100 years of the library. We had cake cutting and a banner at the City Touch a Truck event. We've had bazookies and baklava at a program, and a history program on the Greeks in Tarpon Springs by Tina Bukavalis. The library had a 100th anniversary celebration in November with special presentations, food, games, prizes, balloon, animals, and face painting. The Friends of the Library, in conjunction with the library, designed a commemorative library ornament, and we have been trying to sell that as a fundraiser for the library. It's a beautiful ornament. If you don't have one, they are for sale for $22 at the library. Just as an aside, even though we are going into a digital age, we continue to see many people come through the doors of the library every day. Right now, the average attendance at the library is 570 people a day. And those of you who know the size of our library, it stays pretty busy all day long. We also, I noted in the statistics that were given to you guys, is that we have had 90,246 items come into the library through the interlibrary loan. That is a tremendous amount of work for our library staff, and I am constantly amazed when I'm there volunteering, watching how much these men and women at the library accomplish on a daily basis. It's almost an overwhelming amount of stuff, you know, that arrive by truck and leave by truck. And speaking of the digital library, I know that Carrie has done presentations to a number of organizations and in meetings of city departments and all on what is available on the website at the library. I'm particularly interested in the digital availability on the website. I get all of my magazines now going on Zinio. But I learned something new as we were preparing this because I hadn't paid much attention to the lynda.com database. And if you haven't browsed that, there are hundreds of programs on the lynda.com database. And what I made a note of last night as I was reviewing it was they've got a lot of tutorials in photography and Photoshop, from basic to advanced. And so now I know what I can do at night when my husband's watching the Rays. Well, most of you know that I'm also on the board of the Friends of the Library, and it, of course, has been a focus of mine for the last 10 years. Last year, we were able again to give the library $35,000, and of that $35,000, $15,000 of it was raised in our little bookstore that is right there in the corner of the library as you come in. That's a lot of books that we sell at 50 cents or 75 cents or $1 each. The Friends also provide all of the books that are given away and in the Christmas parade, and we're happy to do so. The library has been very well supported by the Friends for many years. We were established in 1964, so we're in our 53rd year. Our community involvement continues to improve, and that's through a lot with our volunteers there at the library. We have had over 3,500 library volunteer hours in the last fiscal year, and over 500 from the Friends of the Library, which is a different volunteer group. The library is partnered with a number of other organizations. The ladies pictured here are two of the volunteers who have worked at the library for a long time. One of them is Judith Leff. She is on the left, and Nancy Nestler is on the right. Other library partners include Peace for Tarpon, Citizens Alliance for Progress, our local schools, the Head Start program, Tarpon Police and Fire. We always look forward to the presentations in our Friends Room. And in fact, we're looking at doing another one, I think in September, that we're concerned about what does a citizen do if you're in a store and there's open fire. What is the best thing to do? So we're looking forward to a presentation on that. And our library staff has really started to get out a lot. Carrie and Holly have been coming to First Fridays, and they also participated in Snow Place last year. This is Mayor Alahuso's favorite. And he asked me particularly to go into a little bit more about the little free libraries because we have now 6 of these book boxes around Tarpon Springs, and they're becoming very popular. But most of the community at this point, I don't think, realizes that when they take a book, they're supposed to leave a book. That's the whole concept of the little free library system, is you're welcome to take a book. We'd like for you to leave a book. Right now, lots of people are taking books, but we don't have a lot being left for us. But that's all right, because the Friends of the Library have books from the bookstore that we can use for donating, to those book boxes. For your reference, the book boxes are at Craig Park. We dedicated one yesterday. Mayor Alahusos came. We did a red ribbon cutting, and it's in a lovely site next to the children's playground close to the tennis courts. The book box was a joint venture of the Tarpon Springs Women's Club and the Friends of the Library. And Sherry Orr, one of our local artists, who is with us tonight, painted the scenes on it. So we have one side of the book box that is for the Friends of the Library, the other side is for the Women's Club, and then on the back, she painted our mermaid, Amma, and a manatee in the water. So it's so typically Tarpon. We just love it, and we really appreciate her talent and the work that she did on that. The others are located at Discovery Playground, the Splash Park / Dog Park, Sunset Beach, Riverside Park, and the Citizens Alliance for Progress Playground, which really I think the CAP one was one of the first. And we did it when the Rays came and did the refurbishment of the playground over there. The other new thing around is our seed library. And again, Mayor Alahusos helped us cut a ribbon for the new seed library at the library. And I heard at the board meeting that despite Lowe's generous seed donations, they've run out of herb seeds. It's gotten very popular. But I think this is something that is really good because we've had so much community involvement with the Seed Library. The partners, of course, are the Friends of the Library that's helped with some of the funding. The Garden Club, the Grow Group, and the Tarpon Springs Community Garden. So we're very, very pleased with how that has been kicked off. That was on April 29th at the Touch-A-Truck. We do a lot of things at the Touch-A-Truck. And there's special thanks to Lowe's because they gave us a generous donation of all the seeds that we needed for this program. Other new services include passes now to the St. Pete Museum of Fine Arts. We keep asking when Lipa Ratner will become part of this group, and we're hoping that that'll be sometime in the near future. We also have a career online high school program for people 19 and older to get a high school diploma. For those of you who are in business and doing hiring, you know that there's a big difference between a high school diploma and a GED. And we're hoping that we'll see a pickup of people involved with that. Recently we did an online email process to convince legislators that we needed to keep the funding in place for that at the state level. That program is completely online, so they can do it either at the library using the library's computers, or they can do it from home. That funding is through the state of Florida, and that was at risk, you know, a little bit ago. And I think everybody knows what the mission of the Tarpon Springs Library is. And I think I'd like just to make a personal comment here. When I first moved to Tarpon Springs 25 years ago, the library was in Craig Park, where our Heritage Museum is now. That is what sold us on Tarpon Springs, was the library. And in particular, the location in Craig Park, because it was just so beautiful. A few years later, it moved to the new building on Lemon Street, which isn't so new anymore. It's 20 years old and showing its age. And it has been a distinct pleasure to continue to be a patron of the Library of Tarpon Springs. I have people that visit from all over, and one of the first places I take them after Howard Park and Sunset Beach is our library. And I hear all the time that they can't believe that the town the size of Tarpon Springs has a facility like the Library of Tarpon Springs. And I hope that you all will support us and continue to make sure we have the finest library around. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'd like to thank you for the presentation, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all the library advisory board members, the Friends of the Library, the volunteers, and the staff. Thank you for the outstanding services they're providing to the city. I also would like to congratulate you for the new services that you have introduced in the library, and I think they're going to be very beneficial to so many people. Thank you so much. We go into the commission comments. Vice Mayor Panther.
Thank you. Yes, I want to thank all of you that help and volunteer there. I don't think we could run the library with just the staff we have there. It involves your help and all y'all's input and the community involvement. And Bill Grantham, you are going to be a loss living our community, and you've always reminded us on here and me at Rotary to always remember the library, and I appreciate that. And that has ingrained in my head. So you have accomplished your mission in that. I appreciate how the library has grown has grown with the times, the various electronic offerings. That's wonderful. You can get a private high school diploma there. that's a huge resource I think we need to capitalize on and advertise more. I agree. I do. I too am fond of the library at Craig Park location. That's where I grew up going. But I realize it has to be where it is now. Just two recommendations more for the city manager. One, as we look to renew our relationship with the Leeper Ratner Museum this budget season, I'd like to talk to Connor Davis about getting some passes in the library. I think that's reasonable to ask for the investment that the city does with partners in art. So unless there's other ramifications of why we don't have that already with the library, I think we can ask Connor of that as a condition to our renewal of that if that's approved at budget time. So to get passes, and I think if we have a local museum, we should have passes there if we have one down in St. Petersburg. I think that just makes sense. Second off, and no, this is no slight to the library, but I did get some comments about the bathrooms during the touch truck. I do realize that's a facility used by some of the homeless in our community. I think it's about time for a refurb of those bathrooms. So maybe in budget season we look at what that would cost and maybe some more proactive maintenance to kind of keep that up. And that's not something that should be put on the library staff. I think the city needs to be more proactive in that. So thank you very much.
Commissioner Kipka.
Thank you. I just want to thank you all for your hard work and dedication. Every year you come and you present to us what's up and coming in the library, what you've been up to through the years, and I appreciate all of you. I know you all work so hard, and it shows you how much you love our library. Mr. Grantham has a special place in my heart, and the town will miss you so much, and I know the library probably does as well. But our library is just amazing, and I say this every year. I can't say enough how great it is, and the staff. And it's grown, like I said, it's grown so much, and we don't have as much staff. The staff isn't growing with it, so it really takes the volunteers to help. And I'll say it again, like I said before, I'd love to see another annex of the library somewhere else in the community. So we'd like to keep that in mind, Mr. City Manager.
Vote for Penny for Pinellas.
Oh, Penny for Pinellas. I think that might be part of Penny for Pinellas.
Yes,
So I'd love to see, I think we need to have some sort of a small annex somewhere else within the city. But thank you again for all your dedication.
Commissioner Carr.
It takes a lot of community involvement to have a great library. So thank you all for everything you're doing and all the volunteers. But we wouldn't be able to have a great library without you all. I know there's a lot of time and dedication that you've committed throughout the years also. So thanks again for everything you've done. I just want to echo the same remarks that the other commissioners have shared also. So thank you.
Thank you. We are now going to the public comment. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yes.
I just wanted to mention a couple things based on the Vice Mayor's comment to let you know that the Museum Passes is a countywide initiative, and it was through the Pinellas Public Library Cooperative, and they wanted to start with just one museum, so that's why we started with the Museum of Fine Arts in St. Pete. But Leeper Ratner has expressed that they would be interested in coming on board, so we will be working with them to do that. And then also, we have been working with the city manager to also get the restroom renovations incorporated as part of our renovation project. Thank you.
Okay.
Peter Lacus, 514 Ashland Avenue. We all some way have a fondness for what the library means to us. I remember for many years in the afternoons bringing my daughter to the library, and whether it was putting puzzles together or crayons or checking out movies or the different events, the guy who came in with all the snakes and lizards and puppet shows and things of that nature. But more importantly, the whole purpose, I think, as it was mentioned, is to provide a place for people to be able to go and learn and find information and to be able to educate themselves. And I applaud all of those who take their time, and I know we've mentioned Mr. Grantham's name, and I've seen you many times here extolling the needs to continue this support, and I see you have people here who will carry on your message. Now, as a suggestion, and hearing talks about expansion and penny money, how about the old post office across the street? I know it's owned by some attorneys, but to me that would seem logistically to work for expansion. You've got your staff close by. You could, so just, want to throw that out there for a thought. Annexes are nice, and I would have Carrie and them look at some kind of study to see the cost effectiveness of it, but if we're outgrowing our library, need room right now, to me that seems to be a logical thing to look at. So that was what I wanted to say, and thank you again to all of y'all for helping educate our children, our seniors, everything you do from genealogy things to conference room, allowing community people to come in and stuff, so it's greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments on this item? We hear not. Thank you very much. We are now going to the consent agenda. Item number 4 is the satisfaction and release of liens. Number 5 is the attorney fees invoice 53992. Number 6 is the award file number 170099-C-RS liquid caustic soda 50% through City of Tampa, bid number 71080614. Number 7 is the award file number 170120-N-RS single source purchase of Dermed pressure relief valve. Number 8 is the increase file number 150139-C-RS printers multifunctional through State of Florida contract 600-000-11-1 multifunction products, printers, fax machines, scanners, related software, supplies, and services. And number 9 is the award file number 170123-C-CM, utilizing National Joint Powers Alliance, contract number 121715, floating with related equipment products, supplies, installation, and services. Number 10 is the file number 1170124-C-CM, utilizing National Joint Powers Alliance, contract number 120716-NAF, vehicles, car vans, SUVs, and light trucks with related equipment, accessories, and services. Number 11 is approved additional services, authorization number 1, RFQ number 150081-SJJ, design of improvements to brick streets. Number 12 is approved additional services, authorization number 2 to RFQ 140028, professional engineering services for reclaimed water tank and pumping station. Number 13 is the award file number 170125-CM, utilizing Florida Sheriff's Association contract, cab, chassis trucks, and other fleet equipment. And the last one, number 14, is the award file number 170127-N-RS, citywide internet and related services. Are there any items that you'd like to pull or discuss? Here none. Are there any commission comments? Are there any public comments of this item? Here none. Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Carr?
Yes.
Commissioner Kikta?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Banther?
Yes.
Mayor Alahouzes?
Yes. And now we're going to item number 15, authorize city attorney to pursue legal action regarding Sun Bay Motel. City attorney will present this item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. You've received, my memorandum dated May 12, In the meantime, as of yesterday, we were informed via letter that the property owner is presently represented by counsel, and in that letter, counsel indicates a desire to meet with the city representatives concerning the property. So in light of that correspondence, my recommendation at this point is to defer this item to some later date pending those discussions. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about that.
Thank you.
And Mr. LaCourse and I have discussed this.
Yeah, I think we ought to take this opportunity to have a negotiation. Are there any commission comments?
You want to start with on that? Or sure. Based on the letter received, I think it is important to defer this until we could have some discussions about the acquisition. I think it's important to review the options and what the property owner wants to discuss. I do have a strong feeling, though, this area still has to be cleaned up in town because it's a very important area of Tarpon Springs. This is where our children of Tarpon go and take pictures for prom and homecoming. It's where Epiphany is. It's where the craft show is. It's where the Christmas parade ends. This is many things in the city is involved in this area. So it's sad to see the area where it's at today, but I sure hope that the city could move forward and it be a great place for many generations to see.
Commissioner Kick.
Thank you. I just, let's hear what they have to say. I'm not sure if this is just a stall tactic personally, but let's give them the opportunity and see what they have to say and see if we can negotiate a price for this hotel. And it is a beautiful part of our community down there, and just what's happened through the last few years and the condition of that property, we can't let that go on any longer. So let's, let the attorneys work some things out and see if we cannot come to some sort of an agreement. Otherwise, I'm just hoping that this isn't a stall tactic is all I'm wondering. But how long do we think, how quick can you negotiate or work out?
Commissioner Attorney Hellinger has been hired and is directing those actions. This is the first time we've had contact with any attorney representing the owner, so that's been part of the delay in beginning those negotiations. So I would think that those could proceed relatively quickly in light of the fact that there is now contact and someone that we can speak to.
Okay, great. Thank you. I would agree to defer then.
Yeah. Vice Mayor Panther?
Yes, I agree with my colleagues. I have zero patience with this property owner, but I will give their legal counsel and ours the opportunity to negotiate the sale, so I would motion to defer.
Well, thank you. I also like to, I'm in favor to defer this item, but before I do that, I want some things that I like to make, I like to comment for the record, is that I want to congratulate our police department and our the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office for completing the narcotics operation. It was a great success, and thank you for the services to our police department.
Yeah.
Of course, unfortunately, that majority of these drug dealings were connected to a Sunbay Motel, and I am very unhappy with that. And also that we want to make sure that we'll not be a repeating violator of our code of ordinance. I want people to understand that we're not going to tolerate any business that related with drugs here in Tarpon Springs. The people must realize that safety and security of the people is our main responsibility as commissions, and we're going to make sure whatever it takes to get that done. So with that, I'd like to go to the public comments.
It wasn't in my backup either.
Okay. Briefly scanning, I don't see anything in here where there's any indication that they're talking about wanting to sell the property. So whatever this talk is about negotiations and all that stuff, unless I get a chance to read that further, I didn't see it in there. Say again, please.
The last paragraph on the first page.
It's on the second page, Mr. Delac. At the top.
Well, it says attempt to resolve the acquisition of the Sunbay Motel amicably, as the acquisition of the property would also resolve any perceived issues with nuisance activity on request that no further steps initiate. Well, again, in looking at Chapter 8, Number 4, determining a nuisance property, which we went through a long process to set that up, and Section 823.05, which talks about gang-related activities and other activities that qualify for being declared a nuisance. This has been going on for so long, and we've been asking for this. Now, I can understand maybe you want to wait till the next meeting. I heard deferral. I didn't hear deferral to a set date. But I think this should be something that on the next meeting you need to proceed, because if you look at the statutes on this, it takes a while for this to be accomplished. And I'm sure Mr. Deneau could advise you the process time between the notifications and appeals and notifications and appeals and all that stuff is, like Commissioner Kitka said, possibly feet dragging. So I would recommend or ask the board that you do proceed with your nuisance abatement actions. And whether that entails them coming to agree to sell the property, which would be nice, then you could get the property and we don't have to take Eddie's property. And then maybe turn it around and sell it to Eddie and let him expand upon it and build his dream, which would really help Tarpon, instead of trying to make a little mini park. And in the meantime, the funds for this suit, does that come out of general funds or CRA funds? Because it's on the BOC agenda, but from my understanding at the last meeting, we're paying Hillinger out of CRA funds, which at that time was $4,500, increasing $500 an hour, $5,000 probably for sure by now. There's another facade or restaurant grant. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments on this item? Please state your name and your address for the record. You begin in 4 minutes.
My name is Peter, 57 West Tarpon Avenue.
Your last name, sir?
Yes, Fanodis. Okay, I have the letter that you sent about that. What I would like to tell you is this. I am open to make any negotiation. If you can start today for me, that's okay. But until now, I never received an offer. And I'm open to sit down and discuss everything. And this is what I'm waiting for that, you know? I think this process is not necessary because involve money that you have to have an attorney to move all of that. You have to waive this money. You don't need all of that. Please sit down and make a deal with me, and probably we'll have a very nice end of this story, and will be everybody happy. This is what I'd like to tell you. Forget this, waive your money, and start today, tomorrow, to make a deal. That's it. I'm open to everything. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other comments? Here none. I will entertain a motion to defer this item.
Motion to defer.
Second.
Can we put a date on it?
Not a day is necessary.
Yeah, that question was asked to me previous to the meeting. When you put a date on it, you typically do that when there's been a publication of some kind made so that those folks who are applying can come back and know. You're not required to put a date on this, so we can bring it back upon your suggestion to the city manager or really at any time. I would think now would be difficult to put a date certain on it because you don't know what the date and status of those negotiations might be. So my suggestion would be to just leave it open.
Any other additional questions, comments? You okay?
Yeah, I just think it'd be wise to have something built in place so it doesn't go on for a couple more months of negotiations. I mean, to have a timeline in place to say this is when negotiations should be wrapped up, I think would be wise on the city's behalf. And then at that point, we would move forward with, if negotiations stall, then we've got something to move forward on. So from a standpoint, I think, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's something that we could look at, and it seems like the applicant or the business owner is willing to negotiate. So putting 3 weeks on it, I don't think is a terrible idea, just to revisit it. If we haven't gotten any further, then we move forward.
Mayor, if I may. I just, Commissioner Carr, I think I see your point, and definitely I would want an update of some form at each meeting. But in my experience with these types of things on this board, and it's taken us. We started this process in the fall. It's taken us this long to get the owner's attention. Okay, I don't know date certain would specific. It sounds great, and I would love to be able to say, hey, in 2 weeks, I want to know, is there a deal or not? But my last little sliver of patience is what we're doing tonight. And I don't think we're going to have those results again in 2 weeks. Then we go through this whole theatrical process again in 2 weeks. I think more of an update, and I can be rest assured with the city manager and working with him on this, that if this is a stall tactic, if this is not going anywhere as it has been up to this point, we can slap this right back on the agenda and go ahead with this. So, I agree that putting a date certain, I'm not so sure would be a direct benefit when this is such a daily thing that we're all working on. If that helps at all.
I also had the same question like you did, and I discussed it with the attorney, and that leave it in an open like this for later date, I think is going to be more beneficial to all of us.
I think I'd be okay with an update from the city manager at the next meeting, and then from there, we could continue this conversation from basically every meeting forward until there's a resolution.
Absolutely.
Good idea.
Commissioner Kichter, you have any other comments?
No.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Carr?
Yes.
Commissioner Kikta?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Banther?
Yes.
Mayor LaHousas?
Yes. Thank you very much. We are now going to the ordinance and resolution. Item number 16 is the ordinance 2017-15. It's the application 16-67, Monaco annexation. This is a second reading. City attorney will read the title, and he will explain the quasi-judicial process.
Ordinance 2017-15, an ordinance of the City of Tarpon Springs, Florida, amending Ordinance 2016-11, correcting the legal description for the annexing of 0.96 acres, more or less, of real property located at 1525 Rainville Road, lying in the south half of Section 1, Township 27 South, Range 15 East, providing for findings and providing an effective date. The second reading of Ordinance 2017-15 by title only was published in the Tampa Bay Times by title only on March 31, 2017 and April 28, 2017. This application is quasi-judicial. We have had a full quasi-judicial hearing at a previous meeting. That same thing is true of items 17 and 18 on tonight's agenda. So what I would ask relative to those applications is for staff and applicant to update this commission as to any change conditions or circumstances. And I would ask for anyone who plans to speak tonight to please stand and be sworn. Anybody intending to give testimony on items 16, 17, or 18 on tonight's agenda? Heather, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I so do.
Thank you.
And Mr. Mavromatis.
You do?
Mr. Mavromatis, raise your hand.
You get sworn in.
Get us sworn in.
Sir, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll give this evening is the entire truth? Thank you. So with that, we'll take ordinance 2017-15 on second reading. Heather.
Yeah, Heather Erler, the Planning and Zoning Director and staff for this application. There has been no additional information on this application since first reading, and I can answer any questions that you might have.
Is the applicant present?
The applicant is not present.
Thank you. Commission have any questions for the city?
No question.
For a motion and a...
Thank you. There's no additional questions from the board. Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
Second.
And roll call.
Commissioner Carr?
Yes.
Commissioner Kikta?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Banther?
Yes.
Mayor LaHousas?
Yes. We now go into the item number 17, which is the ordinance 2017-16. This is the application 1723, Red Bank Investment Annexation. This is a second reading.
Ordinance 2017-16. Heather, you going to present these together?
I can. You want to read them together?
Okay. We'll read them together since they'll be presented together. Ordinance 2017-16. An ordinance of the City of Tarpon Springs, Florida, annexing 2.01 acres, more or less, of real property located on the southeast corner of the intersection of North Pinellas Avenue and Dixie Highway in Section 1, Township 27 South, Range 15 East, providing for findings and providing an effective date. That's the second reading of ordinance 2017-16 by title only. It was published in the Tampa Bay Times by title only on March 31, 2017 and April 28, 2017. The companion application is ordinance 2017-17, an ordinance of the City of Tarpon Springs, Florida, amending the official zoning map of the City of Tarpon Springs, Florida, for approximately 2.01 acres of property located on the southeast corner of the intersection of North Pinellas Avenue and Dixie Highway, map 17-25, from Pinellas County zoning designation C2 to HB Highway Business, providing for findings and providing effective dates. Or second reading of ordinance 2017-17 by title only. It was published in the Tampa Bay Times by title only on March 31, 2017 and April 28, 2017. And just a reminder to Commission, they'll be presented together, but we'll need a motion and a second for each ordinance independently.
With that, Heather Erler, again, your Planning and Zoning Director, staff for these two applications. There has been no additional information on these applications since first reading, and I can answer any questions that you might have.
Questions for Ms. Orwell? Does the applicant wish to make a presentation or speak to the board this evening? Seeing that.
Okay. We're going to do item number 17, which is the ordinance 2017-16. I will entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
Second.
And roll call, please.
Commissioner Carr?
Yes.
Commissioner Kikta?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Banther?
Yes.
Mayor LaHousas?
Yes. Item number 18, which is the ordinance 2017-17. I also need a motion for that as well.
Motion approved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Carr?
Yes.
Commissioner Kikta?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Banther? Mayor LaHousas?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are now going to item number 19 is the appointment to a Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. The office has been notified that we have two resignations of Mr. Ray Ward and James Stavropoulos. So we need to appoint two people from the list. We also have an additional member that is interested. Her name is Melissa Virgil. I'll start with Vice Mayor Panther.
Yes, we have two individuals that are from the Citizens Academy that put the Parks and Recreation Board as their first choice. So I would motion or nominate, if you will, Alice Morgan and Elizabeth Posner.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Agree.
You agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Carr,
I agree.
you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I need a motion.
Motion to nominate Alice Morgan and Elizabeth Posner as regular members of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board.
Second. And roll call, please.
Commissioner Carr?
Yes.
Commissioner Kikta?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Banther?
Yes.
Mayor LaHousas?
Yes. Ms. Jacobs, also looks like we don't have an alternate member for this advisory board. Perhaps this is a good time to do that.
Or their Parks and Recs?
Yeah.
I don't believe they have an alternate member.
They don't have an alternate member?
have alternates on
All the other boards do.
I don't, the Parks and Recs
They don't
does
have
not.
one? Okay.
And I'm looking at the roster and there's not one showing.
Okay. I noticed that it's now on there. This is why I'm bringing it up.
We would have, I believe we
Normally
would
don't
have
have one there.
to go back if we were gonna add an alternate member and change their makeup.
Okay. Just want to make sure that they have a quorum.
That's the problem. A lot of times they don't have a quorum.
Yeah. So we need to look at that as well.
To sit on
Since
that
we have volunteers that like to serve.
You want to do that now? Or do we got to do a resolution for that?
You need to do
Okay,
a
all right.
resolution, yeah. Okay. All right, now we go to the item number 20. Appointment to the Budget Advisory Committee. Mr. David Kids notified the city that he cannot serve the committee. So we need to appoint a person from the list to serve as an alternate one, and the term will expire March 20th, 2020. We have 3 applicants. Commissioner Carr, we'll start with you.
I feel that it's important to have young blood on boards. There is a recent college grad, it looks like, that has an application in. I would make a recommendation to place Louis Pappas on the board.
I concur with that. Vice Mayor Panther.
Yes, I'm fine with that. I was going to do the Assistance Academy first, and I talked to Louis. He was fine waiting a little bit, but if the consensus of this board is to have him on there, that's completely fine with me.
Okay. Commissioner Carr?
I would agree.
Huh? You okay with you?
Yep.
Okay, I need a motion.
Motion to place Mr. Pappas on the Budget Advisory Board.
And a
Second. Second.
And roll call, please.
Commissioner Carr?
Yes.
Commissioner Kikta?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Banther?
Yes.
Mayor LaHousas?
Yes. Thank you. Well, that concludes the agenda tonight. We're going to the staff comments. Police Chief,
No comments, Mayor, thank you.
City Attorney,
No comments.
Mr. Licouris.
First of all, I want to give an update on Court Street. The decorative lights are in now. Some people have been asking about. Obviously, we're doing most of this in-house, and we didn't want to do a split project of the road and the lights. The lights are in now, so very soon, within the next couple of weeks, we'll see that process going, and the road and the lights put in for Court Street. The second thing is we need to have a call for a special work session between the Board of Commissioners and the Board of Adjustments. There's been some issues and some questions from that board to commission, and we've got some definite issues, the city attorney and myself. So I think the best way to work it out is a work session, and we need to do it pretty soon. With a lot of vacations and stuff doing it, I was looking at Tuesday, May 30th being an off Tuesday. We don't have the conflict with the auditorium because they're supposed to hold all the Tuesdays open, and I'd like for you to approve us having that special work session between the boards.
November 30th.
May 30th.
I mean, May 30th.
A Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm. You okay with that? Everybody's fine with that?
What
That date?
My youngest sister's birthday, but I'll be late for cake. That's all.
Okay.
Have a lot of
City Attorney, do we need a motion for that?
No.
Just consensus?
You're fine.
So we would meet here
Yes.
at 6:30?
Or what?
At your house, maybe?
Fine, at the pool, it's lunch.
6:30 or, I mean, it's usually 6:30. If you want to do 6, if you, I mean, you guys, tell me and we call it.
6:30.
6:30 works for me.
That way we'll
6:30?
be
Yeah.
Okay.
consistent about it, yeah.
Okay.
So, Curtis, you got it?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
May 3rd.
That's it? Got anything else?
What about the other meeting? We have another one?
No.
Oh. The next
The-
thing.
There's a budget meeting in there. Workshop.
Oh,
For the,
you're talking about
with Mr. Jackus?
the auditors?
Yeah.
That I believe is the 31st, correct? Yeah.
What is that one?
We ought to select, for the commission to select an auditor.
May 31st at 6:30, and that's upstairs. Oh, I gotta write this down. You know how it is at our age.
Yeah. Before this meeting, we have a bunch of homework that we have to do.
I know, I'm almost done.
Almost done? Okay. Anything else, Mr. Licorice?
No.
No. Madam Select.
No
City
comment.
Clerk? No? Okay. Vice Mayor Panther.
Yes, I will. Well, first off, we had fun at Fire Ops. You, Mayor, and Commissioner Carr. Some pictures posted online, and one picture you took of me that, I will sue you if you ever post anywhere. It was horrible. No, it was funny. He took in between, activities. They have you take your bunker gear off, right, so you can air out. And the mayor turned around, and he was in he and Commissioner Carr were in the group ahead of me, and he turned around and took a picture of me seated with my bunker gear off, and I had my board shorts and T-shirt on, but looks like I'm doing something else seated. So it was an appropriate picture for my last meeting, I think.
That was just an honest thing.
I know, it's okay. But no, it's a great activity. I hope that Commissioner Kitka can do it next year. I will do it with you if you want to, and it really makes you appreciate, just doing it in 3 hours, and it wasn't really that hot, and I was drenched and tired. So I appreciate what our first responders do, and thank you. Lastly, I'll be in Georgia for the first 2 weeks of June, so I will not be at the next meeting. So I wish everybody a happy start to their summer.
Thank you. Commissioner Kick.
Yes, thank you. I just, we have high school graduation May 22nd, Monday, May 22nd. I think it starts at 7 o'clock at Sponger Field, so hopefully.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually head on Thursday.
Yeah, well. They're graduating earlier this year as well, so, but I want to wish all the graduates 2017 the best of luck, and enjoy your summer.
Thank you. Commissioner Carr.
Yeah, I want to echo what Vice Mayor Banther said about Fire Ops 101. Big thank you to our first responders and Mike Stone and the individuals that invited us down to the training facility. It was very eye-opening. There's a lot that goes into just the day-to-day operations and things that I'm sure a lot of us don't realize. So I did enjoy it, and I enjoyed being there with the mayor and the vice mayor as well. For the city manager, I just want to bring up a couple things. We've all received some letters. One regarding to, I believe, trash being thrown over the wall of Stonehenge. I think you've sent some documentation or emails back and forth. So the Stonehenge, I think that's it seems like it's been going on for years, and I know having a nuisance like that can be frustrating. Being a resident and calling the city and not knowing what can be done. So if I could just encourage you to continue to.
Yes, we've got a city liaison doing it. It's funny how they say it's been going on a year, but when I talk to the crime prevention officer they're supposed to be dealing with, he hadn't heard anything about it. But we have designated a liaison to meet with them and do it. Just sometimes what's written in an email doesn't end up being completely fact, but we've got a liaison for the city that's going to work with them and try to resolve their problem. But that property manager meets with our crime prevention guy regularly, and that's the first he'd heard of it. But regardless of that, we've got a liaison that's working with them, and we're going to be dealing with that.
Sounds like you contacted the right person,
Yeah.
so thanks.
Oh, good.
We also received another letter about a road that is off Curlew. I talked to Tom about it over south of the hospital about creating a lot of dust for I don't remember the name of the subdivision. I think it's Hidden something. He mentioned that with the undeveloped land next to it, with the combination of it not being a city road with mostly county. There's not a whole lot that the city can do to it. So if any of the residents for that area reach out, I suppose to the city manager or mayor's office, that we could direct them also and encourage maybe some names to contact in the county.
Well, again, there's a lot of things, Dusty, because of the drought that believe me, I've got more dust complaints in the last month than I think I've got in the 8.5 years I've been up here, and a lot's due to the drought. On that road, we're already starting to talk to the county. We've got meetings set with the county. The road is rather odd because it splits right down the middle of the road. Half of it's city, half of it's county.
Yeah.
So it's very problematic. The last time, many years ago, in fact, I was police chief, then we looked and there were some property issues, but that might have been resolved. So there's a lot of issues with that, but the county has been receptive to setting up a meeting with them, talking about that, and see if we can jointly get it on each of our agendas for the upcoming years, where it is, to see what we can do to work out to do a joint road project there. So that's already begun with us. Tom's reached out to them and they're receptive to the meeting. So we will be meeting on that road and seeing what we can do about that.
Yeah. Thanks for the update on that. I've also reached out to some county commissioners about the Whitcomb Bayou areas and the lack of sidewalks around county roads, lack of sidewalk going out to Fred Howard Park, parts of Whitcomb Boulevard getting ready to go into the bayou, and some other things that the county isn't aware of. So I've also have reached out on the behalf of Tarpon Springs to try to get them up here to see these issues that we're having with safety, bicyclist, pedestrian issues, and so on. So I'll continue from my end to press our county commissioners about it also. Thanks.
Well, thank you. I also like to thank the firefighters for giving us the opportunity to get the training for the Fire Ops 101. That was very, very exciting, very beneficial. Kind of reminds me of the days when I was in Parris Island. It was very, very beneficial to us, knowing exactly what our firefighters do. Mr. Licouris, I also like to ask a question that I've been getting from the people, the Athens Street improvements. I know that was rescheduled to be done after the season. Do you have any dates in mind for that?
It's going out to bid probably as we speak.
Good. Any idea how long it will take to start?
Hopefully, depending on the bids, we all know we have to get it done before season, so we hope to, depending what the bids are and who wins them, I'll have a better update when the bids are over and it's chosen. I'll have a better timeline.
So it takes like a month or two?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate what Mr. Carter was talking about, Commissioner Carter was talking about, the concerns that we have on the different roads under the jurisdiction of Pinellas County. We all talking to the commissioners for different sidewalks and streets and all that. What I'm requesting, Mr. Licouris, if it's possible to schedule a work session with us and the county commissioners and to discuss different issues that we have so we all be on the same page. And if you give us a list of all the items that we have, our concerns that we have, and discuss it with them as a team.
You might have to give some a GPS.
Well, perhaps we can go down there. I don't have a problem with driving down there,
On our territory, I think it's best.
It is. But I mean, if they don't want to come here, I don't have any issue go down there.
I will drive right with you, Mayor.
Mr. Licouris, if you please look at doing that.
It'll probably be difficult, but
I know.
Not in May.
You got to give it a try. Also have some announcements to make. On Saturday, May 20th, we have the Wine at the Ducks. That begins at 5 p.m. Saturday, May 22nd is the out of school bash at the Sunset Beach from 3:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Same day, May 27th, we have the salsa night down at the Sponge Ducks. That begins at 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday, May 29th is the Memorial Day ceremony down at the Craig Park, and I'd like to see everybody to be there. Thursday, June 1st, Sunset Beach Concert, 7 p.m. And Friday, June 2nd, is the first Friday on Tarpon Avenue. That starts at 6 p.m. And that's all I have. Thank you all for being here tonight. Good night. Well, that concludes the regular session tonight. Is adjourned at 8:02.
Good night, Jacob.
You too. Good seeing you.
Yeah, good seeing you.
So, Mr. LeCouris, you think that's going to be a difficult task to get them together, huh? Go ahead.